Cool.
We did
Yep,
it.
and people are confirming Blink on HBO Max is 45 minutes.
Oh, perfect. And we're
Yeah.
good. It's not like a movie or something. Like
Nope, it's a perfectly self-contained Doctor Who episode. You don't need all you need to know is that he's a doctor. He travels in a TARDIS. He has a companion, and in this case, it's I think my favorite companion. Sorry, folks.
Oh,
but,
yeah. You have a favorite, do you?
Clara. Clara's my favorite.
Oh, okay.
I have the biggest crush on Clara.
Okay. Claire. Okay, Clara.
Sorry, Clara.
Yeah, sorry,
Clara.
Claire. You're too young for us anyway. Jeez.
Yeah,
Robbing the
exactly.
cradle.
Come on now. Yeah, I think Clara. I think that actress is too young for me as well. Yeah.
Indeed. Let's do this. Okay, so we got the deal. Yeah, we got the deal. The deal is happening. Here we go. Recording is happening. This is happening. It's all happening.
Help! It's happening.
Help! It's happening. All right, here we go. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
Joe's found out there's an actual clinical name for what you call it when you can't sleep at night and you just eat instead. It's called insomnia.
Not even Twitch. The morning stream. Get the baby.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TMS. It's Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. We got ourselves a 3/23/23.
That's right. 32323.
I like these dates. You know I do. Don't know why. I just like a nice pattern, and that's a human trait that I value.
Love it.
Yeah.
It makes me like I think of you whenever I see any dates on the calendar that have some sort of weird pattern to them.
Yeah. Well, I can't help it. I don't know why it is, but since childhood, I can remember like weird dates. And I remember maybe when this was pounded into me is when I waited for Mortal Monday. Because it was like a weird date. What day was it? They did a date thing when they released Mortal Kombat for the Genesis, and I remember being like, "Yeah, because that makes a pattern. Like you can just take these dates and manipulate them." And they did it again with Skyrim. It was 11/11/11. Oh man,
Really?
yeah, that was the day to get Skyrim.
PlayStation 1 had a thing like that too, wasn't it? Like 99.99 or
might have been. Let's see.
I could be totally wrong on that.
Something tried to have maybe it was Sonic. Something was $9.99. You're not wrong. Something. Dreamcast.
Yeah,
It's the Dreamcast.
Dreamcast was $9.99. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in
That's
line.
right. Yeah. $913.93 was PlayStation 1. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, definitely later on PlayStation, but or earlier. Anyway, oh shit! I just closed the chat. Didn't mean to. Let's pull them back up. They're important. They matter. Chat matters. We got a full show. We got Wendy coming up. We got Amy. We got all that. Before we do anything else, or before we start much else, I did want to say this. The morning form reminder for the week.
Stand back and check your personal belongings. It's time for the morning form.
All right, here's the deal.
Love it.
Last Monday, we had you signing up for the form, and on Monday, we'll give away the prize for that week's winnings. And on Thursdays, I'll remind people that they got to get in there. So they have the weekend to make up for whatever lax freaking attitude they had during the week.
Yeah, exactly. You've got no excuse, and time is ticking away.
No, right now, literally, TikTok. Okay,
TikTok.
Right. That's funny we say that since the TikTok hearings are happening right now as we speak. Anyway, frogpants.com/themorningform is where you'll go fill out this form. And the form is basically just there to ask you a cool question. This week, the question is, I almost forgot what it was. No, I didn't. Best primetime animated series. It's multiple choice, so you got your usual Simpsons and Futurama and Flintstones and Bob's Burgers and all that stuff in there. There's also an option for other, so you can submit your own if you didn't like it. The point of this is to get two things. One, a nice little graph of who thinks what's the best. That's fun to talk about.
Sure.
But secondly, one of you at random will win the prize. Okay? So,
and thirdly, we might be selling your email addresses to the Russians. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's possible.
No, the truth is we won't. But
Kidding.
we
No,
might.
never.
We might, but we won't. We won't, but we might. But we won't. We won't.
But we could.
We could, but we won't. But we might. Anyway, there's that. So go check it out if you haven't already entered that, because there is still time. You can still get in. I had another weird neighbor moment.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not only a weird neighbor moment, it's another weird word moment, because I have these: fart gas, explosive tip, that sort of stuff. Last night, 10:30 at night, I'm in bed and I'm reading. And I'm enjoying a reread of Hugh Howley's Silo series, because I want to get pumped for the new Apple TV series that's based on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading that. Fantastic series. Wool is amazing. Even if all you read is Wool and you're done with everything else, oh man, just such a great story.
Okay.
And a quick read. It's not even like a super thick book. It's a very, very cool book. Anyway, some of my favorite stuff ever. So I'm reading that, and I'm pretty engrossed in it. You know, the story's going. And my brain's like, oh, I think this character's played by so-and-so actor, and I think this person's, whatever. Like, who's Dune Mom on Dune?
Dune Mom.
Jessica, or no. Shoot. She's also the weird hat lady in Dr. Sleep. I can't think of her name.
Oh, yes. Ruth Wilson?
No.
Not Ruth Wilson.
It's like Rebecca something. Rebecca
Ferguson.
Ferguson. That's it.
Ferguson, yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, this is her. This is Rebecca Ferguson. And then I'm thinking, oh, this other character is so and so, and I don't know who Tim or Andy Dufresne is playing in this, but he's playing one of these characters. And I'm trying to figure it out. And anyway, so I'm really deep into the thinking is the point, right? I'm super distracted by this book, and then I hear out the window to the back of me, next to my bed, which is kind of a rear alley sort of thing for the homes behind me, one of which is Tesla guy. He lives there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
I don't think this was him. It could have been. I don't know, actually. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, I just suddenly hear this sound. I hear, misdemeanor! And then I hear a door shut, a car door. And that's the end of it. But he yelled misdemeanor. No other voices. Nobody else answered. Nobody else said anything prior or after he said it. It was a singular thing where he yelled misdemeanor and slammed his car door. Now,
maybe he was talking about his wife's ability to compose herself and saying, oh, well, aren't you Miss Demeanor?
Oh, I like it. This is a good theory. Yeah. I mean, it's as good as any other because I have no context for this. Because I really don't know, like, what the hell.
It's so bizarre. Like, yeah, I mean, and it was clear. It wasn't like, well, I could have misheard another word that sounded like misdemeanor.
Possibly, but let's think about what that would be. Like, Mr. Wiener, I missed a wiener.
You missed the wiener.
Missed the wiener.
Tried to kick me.
Too bad. You'll have to
got
try
my
again.
leg. You missed the wiener.
Yep, try later. How about Mr. I can't think of anything else. What else is there?
Misdemeanor.
I mean, maybe he was on his phone and he was getting out of the car and went. But he didn't say it like misdemeanor or a question. It was like misdemeanor, and then bam.
Huh.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Chat room says, should I consider getting a hearing test? I've had hearing tests. They're totally fine. My ears are fine. It isn't that. And I heard him enunciate the word misdemeanor. I'm positive about it.
Yeah.
So, or something that sounds just like misdemeanor. I'm willing to admit that it's possibly a variation on that, but then
do we know anything else about this guy as far as like what his beliefs are, his leanings? Because somebody, Wolf Glen 99 says maybe he's a MAGA guy complaining about Trump's case that it's a misdemeanor.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Like, I'm paying off a porn star. Misdemeanor.
He's making his statement. I mean, Satali says sounds like a domestic dispute, but there was nobody else there. Just a dude in the car. And I ran to the window, and nothing. All I see is shadows. I don't know who's there. There's no lights on. So I can't like say even if it was Tesla or if it was this family next to him that always poops on our lawn now. We have a new pooping on the lawn family.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, at least they're like, we're so sorry.
Once one gets resolved, now it's like a vacuum. A poop on the lawn vacuum has been created for another neighbor to fill. Basically.
Yeah, they basically apologize a lot for it, and he's like, oh, I always think I thought I got it all, this kind of thing.
Yeah,
but they don't necessarily. It's better than Tesla reacted when we accused them, but
yes, oh sure.
But anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. Why would you
Yeah,
say
it's weird.
misdemeanor?
All right, well, you might have to keep us.
Does misdemeanor
there's
mean
a follow-up.
anything? Does it mean anything outside of what we know it means? Like, law-wise?
I'm sure there's. I bet you look on Urban Dictionary. There's got to be another definition for misdemeanor.
Brian, this is a good idea.
Yeah, you know, I took her in the bathroom and gave her a misdemeanor.
All right, we're going to look. We're looking. Hold on. Misdemeanor. Oh, it says it doesn't know. Why? Did I spell it wrong?
Okay. All right. Well,
Did I spell it wrong? Maybe I spelled it wrong. Hold on. Oh, I did. Misdemeanor. Nickname of the singer Missy Elliott. The actual meaning of misdemeanor is a minor crime. Ain't slang. The misdemeanor on the show. Let's see. Okay, here's one. A minor wrongdoing. Did you hear about the guy that swore in public? He was fined $2,000 for his misdemeanor. Okay, that's the actual.
I like that. That's on Urban Dictionary is like the actual definition of misdemeanor.
Once in a while, it happens. Once in a while, you get in there. Okay, how about this one? Oh, there's an all-girl rock band from Sweden. The May '97 release of the Misdemeanor EP, a Psych Out Records. Psych Out. She Devil Recordings. Let's see. After a year in the studio, other releases include Fifth Wheel. Never heard of these people.
Is it spelled misdemeanor? Is it since it's an all girl group? Please tell me it's spelled misdemeanor.
No, it's not.
No,
That's lame, right? That is lame.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Yeah. I can see it in their demeanor that they chose wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, how about this one? Oh, that's a petty one.
Tally's right. Yeah, misdemeanor is a great drag name. Like a great, like I can hear RuPaul announcing her right now.
Yeah.
Work it, misdemeanor.
Yeah.
The library is open. Let's drink some tea or something. I don't know what he says.
I don't know what it is either.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think you did a good job of trying to come up with that.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
How about okay, here we go. Misdemeanor meadows. When someone other than a stoner has a lot of black ice trees hanging in their car, really recognizable by police officers. Quote, "Hey man, come on, let's roll to the store." Nah, fam. Not while you got that misdemeanor meadows growing in your car.
The misdemeanor meadows.
Yeah.
So all of the trees hanging from the rearview mirror. You know what's bizarre about that? I see that all the time when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Is I'll see, if you have one of those and those trees, why are they so damn popular? Because I see them on every car. Like I'll be behind a car. Look, sure enough, little tree outline dangling from the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Number one, why are those so popular? But number two, why do people just stack them? Instead of saying, oh, this one's not working anymore, they just get another tree and stick it on top of that one. And then they stick another tree on top of that one. Because I see these stacks of about 15 trees, unless it is exactly what you're talking about, the misdemeanor meadows, which is the best the best description.
It's pretty good.
Ever.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the final thing since we live in the age we live, and we say, what? Let's see. What other? I'm gonna ask Chat GPT 3.5 this question. So we'll see if the AI knows. All right. What other uses are there for the word misdemeanor? Yeah. I could probably do this like a Google search, but whatever. Let's see. All right. Chat GPT, OpenAI doing its work. All right. We're blinking. We're blinking. We're generating a response. Yeah. It says nothing yet. Oh, stop generating. Okay, here we go. The word misdemeanor typically refers to a minor criminal offense that is less serious than a felony. However, the term can also be used for more broadly to describe any other type of wrongdoing or misconduct that is considered less serious than a major offense. Here are other examples of the use of the word misdemeanor. Number 1, ethical misdemeanor. Number 2, social misdemeanor. Okay. Number 3, oh, wait, it's still writing number 2. Number 3, personal misdemeanor. All right. So far we got ethical, social, personal, and finally, 4th, linguistic misdemeanor. This didn't help at all.
No, really didn't.
Nope. Thanks, Chat GPT.
Claire found the term wiener misdemeanor, which is code for diddling. And basically, I just committed a wiener misdemeanor.
Oh. Ew.
Yeah.
I don't think I like that one. That seems nasty.
No.
Claire, did you find it, or was it already part of you? You tell us.
She found it.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, I don't know what to make of it. Everyone at home, you can write in and tell me your theories, but that guy yelled it, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And he was enunciating. It's not like it was. It's not like it was muffled.
You heard it clear as day.
Yeah, I do get a lot of sound back there because I'm literally the window's right where people pull into that back driveway. And if they say stuff out there, that's how we heard Tesla back when he was complaining about us and called the cops. That's how I heard. Yeah, I've heard plenty of things back there, and this was
things I've heard back there, Brian. I'll put hair on your chest.
Oh man, I don't know if I'll ever get over it. Anyway, there's that. I hope you're all doing well. We're gonna add Amy to the call, and we're gonna have some.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some reading. Speaking of reading, we're gonna have her help us read.
Yeah. We don't need no AI to read us this.
Hell no. But we do need to play her intro, which is fresh and new.
One of the things that I enjoy also is reading.
I couldn't change the music, though. I love it too much.
Yeah, no, it's perfect for Amy. Yeah.
Joining us now, we have Amy, a.k.a. Red Fraggle. She is our resident librarian, and has lots of reasons to tell us why to read and what to read, and she's here today to do just that. Hi, Amy. Welcome back.
Hi.
How are you?
I definitely would not claim the title of librarian.
No.
I have, excuse me, many friends who are actual librarians, and that takes a lot of work. So
have you ever told anyone to
pro tem or librarian by proxy?
There you go.
You're our librarian.
That's right. We gave you an honorary.
I'll be the frog pants librarian.
There you go.
You must tell us how the Dewey Decimal System works, though, to attain that title.
Oh Lord, if I know.
I don't remember either. I mean, we were all supposed to be taught that, right? And no one remembers it. I don't remember.
I mean, well, we were all taught it. I mean, there's a difference between knowing how it works, that it's like, okay, you find the number you like, and then the subcategories are the decimal point or the numbers after the decimal point, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think anybody expected us to remember, well, your reference books are going to be in the 100s and your autobiographies are going to be in the 600s. And
well, the good news is you already remember more about it than I do in total. So nice job. I don't remember any of it. I just remember it had a funny name. And
I just like Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey's good.
Who doesn't like Dewey? I think Dewey was better than Huey or Louie.
That's
really,
right.
If you ask me.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I liked Scrooge, the way he would swim in the
centrist,
the gold coins.
Capitalist.
Dirty capitalist. Literally, because he's swimming in money, and money is gross.
Do you remember there was an old Disney short about, like, they weren't actually all that short, but they used to do these educational videos, and they did one about money and like how I remember that's where I learned that the word salary comes from salt and like all this different stuff, and it was like a Scrooge McDuck going on a kind of a multiverse adventure with an omniscient narrator. It was in the same vein. One of my favorite things
kind of
ever
their
was
Schoolhouse Rocked by Disney, basically.
Yeah, I actually have the DVD, or I used to, I don't know if I still do, of one of them. It was called Donald in Math Magic Land, and it was all like Donald Duck learning math and like really cool math concepts like the golden section and the Fibonacci sequence and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. So like
nothing better than learning the times tables from a creature that talks
right?
like that, basically.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I became a nerd.
BioCal
found the video. This is awesome.
I found the Wikipedia for it. It's called Scrooge McDuck and Money. And it came out in 1967. It says in the description, directed by Hamilton Lusk and featuring characters Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. It was released then. It begins with them visiting their uncle in his bank vault and explain that they want to deposit their money, which totals a considerable $1.95. Then he goes on to tell them all about money. So you're absolutely right. And it featured that Scrooge voice guy, that Bill Thompson dude who did all the Scrooge voices back then.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I just wanted them to explain how you're supposed to swim and dive into a vault full of hard coins. That's just like, it's going to hurt right on your landing. First of all.
It's like a hard floor.
Yeah. Seems like that would be very painful and not at all conducive to a good swim.
It's like those people that try to cannonball into that liquid that is also a solid until you stand on it long enough. What's that called?
Sure.
Pneumatic fluid or whatever it is. What's it called? Not pneumatic.
Not pneumatic, but yes.
Dang it. It's one
water
of those
and
kinetic fluid.
Is
That's
it
right.
kinetic
kinetic?
fluid?
Is that it?
Kinetic or a
Ah,
kinetic
Newtonian.
solid or
That's
kinetic.
it.
Newtonian, or
Newtonian.
non-Newtonian fluid.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There you go.
And
yeah.
Like
those
when you add water to, you mix water and what's it called? Cornstarch.
Cornstarch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put it on the speaker and watch it dance.
I mean, how am I going to watch half-naked people jump into those and slam on them hard if TikTok goes away? Come on now.
Right. Oh, yes. Gosh.
I know.
We'll
I
see how it
really,
goes.
it's a silly thing for me to be upset about, but if it does, I'll be upset because like I actually really love TikTok because I have curated my feed very carefully. It's like I get crafty stuff and art
Mhm.
stuff and
Mhm.
creative stuff and funny like cute dogs and crap
Same.
like that. Like
Yeah.
I have learned a lot from TikTok
I
and
agree.
I will be very sad
There's
if it
really
goes
good
away.
content on there. What will happen is, if it happens, I don't know that it will, but if it does, they'll all shift to YouTube Shorts, or they'll all shift to Instagram Reels. I don't like either of
Reels,
those
yeah.
things compared to it, but they'll do it, and it'll all be okay. But that's the big hang up, or that's the big disconnect I have with this whole thing. Is there's tons of I found a documentary series on there yesterday that is just a series of documentaries about seemingly ordinary people with like amazing stories. I wouldn't have found it any other way. It was really great and like heartfelt. This 94-year-old dude who flew planes when he was 19 in World War II, ran bombing runs, and then he danced for the rest of his life. He's 94 now, and he just tells this amazing story. How am I supposed to find that shit otherwise? You know?
I know.
It's really
I know.
good.
Well, and a bigger question is this who we really want to be? Because I heard a story about this a few months ago, like when the bill was introduced and all this, by one of the sponsors. They were interviewing him on NPR, and NPR does this thing occasionally where people call in and leave a voicemail, kind of like you do,
Sure.
but less
Sure.
less fun and silly, more like, hey, here's the thing you guys are talking about, and
Right.
I want to comment on it. And a guy called in and said, okay, can you explain to me how this isn't the same thing as China just banning all of American media, or anything that they don't like? How is it any different? Because it sure does smack of that.
No,
And
here's my main take is
you
it
know.
is a political football that is advantageous for people to keep in the air. And until it's no longer that, which is based on a lot of issues, xenophobia, actual concerns, like there's a lot of stuff mixed up in there, but it's a political football nonetheless. And like all political footballs, nobody actually cares that we deflate the football and throw it away. They care that we keep it up in the air so everyone has something to fight over. And I hate it because it's just sitting there, especially, I said this at the top of the show, pre-show, but them asking questions that they should be asking about YouTube, like saying, well, there's a lot of misinformation on your app. Do you disagree? I'm thinking, have you seen YouTube? Have you seen Twitter? Have you seen Facebook? Have you seen these American social networks?
Those aren't currently on trial, but I'm sure if they were, the excuse shouldn't be, here's all this information, but other ones are doing it too. It should be, all right, well, you guys are currently on
Mom!
trial. Yeah, you
Mommy
guys are
ate the
currently on
cookies
trial.
too.
So
Yeah.
let's address the ones that are in front of us, and then we can get to.
But they're not
Facebook
going
and
to.
Twitter.
They don't care because those aren't political footballs. Nobody wants to bring
they
YouTube
will
in.
if all of
Well-
a sudden Zuckerberg says, "Oh, I might also be selling your information to China."
Well,
We need,
you think he's
we
going to
need
say
our-
that? He ain't
our,
gonna say
No,
that.
he's not going to say that.
We need the equivalent of Tom Brady to come deflate this football for us.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how it all pans out today. I'm not pro-China. I'm not anti-China. I'm just
Of course.
I just think this is all stupid. It's stupid. If you're
Agreed.
gonna go, oh, this is making our kids enjoy dancing or whatever your problem is, they're not serious people in Washington. They're just not serious.
And the hilarious thing to me, and this dovetails right into today's topic, so it's all good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but like the hilarious thing to me was listening to that piece on NPR and hearing the guy who was sponsoring this speak about it. He's like, well, have you seen what's on there? Like, it's just nothing but, misinformation and sexy videos and predators. And I was like, my guy telling on himself there, because TikTok's algorithm does a pretty good job of showing you what you go looking for.
Mhm.
So, what
Mhm.
you looking for there,
Yeah,
Congressman?
I
You
know.
know?
There's way more of like it figures out what you hesitate on. Like, oh yeah, I don't want to have this in my feed, but I can't stop looking at this, and it's like, great, now you can have a bunch more of that in your feed.
Yeah, but I don't have, like if they're trying to, if China is trying to fill my brain with Chinese propaganda via this app, they're doing a terrible job of it because I don't get any of that. I get cats, I get dogs, I get nothing but goofy weird shit. Once in a while, I'll send Brine something that's just funny.
Thanos dancing.
Yeah,
for some
Thanos
reason.
dancing. If that's
Right.
propaganda, then I must have a weird definition of what propaganda is. That's the part I don't get.
Yeah.
It
I
did
get
make me
I get like lots
strangely
of
hungry
Gen
for
X
egg
stuff
rolls
and
when I
art
saw that
streams
video.
and
I get way more
Yeah.
random like pro Russia shit in Twitter than I do, and I don't follow any of it, but I get it.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
whatever, Congress,
So
eat a
let me
turd.
show you guys how this leads into what I
Yes,
was going to
please,
talk
please,
about
let's
today.
talk about a book.
Like, no, we're not. We're going to keep talking about this, unfortunately, Brian.
Oh,
So
no.
today, I didn't pick an actual book. Today, what
Oh.
I wanted to do was talk about how silence only helps the oppressor, right? And to censor things and to silence things is not, it's inherently not good. So I decided this week I was going to go look at banned books, and
Oh,
my
cool.
my challenge to everyone is, Scott, I sent you a couple of links there. I'll throw them in the chat also. Um, go find a list of banned books and just pick one and go read one.
Hmm.
You
Oh, look
know,
at this.
And
This
see
is
there
if
are
you
cool.
get
lots
see if your
of
mind gets corrupted.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Well, and the interesting thing too is the link I just threw in the chat is a link to ala.org, which is, I think it's like the Association of Librarians. I forget what it actually stands for, but um anyway, they will list there the reason that the book was banned or
Mm.
challenged, and how many of them are like, like, for example, the most challenged books, the top 10 most challenged books of 2021. Number 1, Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe.
Mm.
It was banned for, LGBTQIA plus content. Lawn Boy, LGBTQIA. All Boys Aren't Blue, LGBTQIA. Out of Darkness, depictions of abuse and considered to be sexually explicit. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, banned and challenged for profanity, violence, and because it was thought to promote an anti-police message and indoctrination of a social agenda. And many other books on here. I'm like, Toni Morrison, The Bluest
Wow.
Eye by Toni Morrison has been banned many times. And there are some books that I have actually recommended on this segment before that have been banned. John Green books are banned a lot.
And you look at
Because,
2020, and you've got To Kill a Mockingbird and Of Mice and Men too.
Yeah, those
Right.
are
Yeah.
always To Kill a Mockingbird was
Yeah.
always like this hot ball. Like I remember even in
Yeah.
high school, somebody was upset we were reading it senior year or junior year. I can't remember what the deal was, but they tried to get our school to ban the book, and we didn't do it. The school wouldn't do it. They refused. I don't know if they'd refuse today or not, but at the time it was a bit weird. My favorite title on here, not for any good reason. I just like number 9, which is This Book is Gay. I like that.
Right? Yeah.
That's a cool
sounds
name.
Sounds like a podcast mentioned by Todd Cochran.
Yeah, like a Todd Cochran award-winning podcast that he might have mentioned before.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything from all of that to things like, it's so funny. Okay, can I just share something about books? Just real quick here. I promise I won't go off on a tangent. The Harry Potter series constantly under attack for being about wizards and dark magic and what certain extreme thinkers believe is demonic and straight from the devil's ass and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Those same people are super stoked about it now because they agree with J.K. Rowling's stance on trans issues.
So
Oh,
here's,
really?
I'm
Oh,
so
jeez.
glad you said that, because I thought it was really hilarious when I was looking up these lists for this segment, doing my research, as it were. If you look at the list from 2019, right there, number 9, Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, because of, occult and blah, blah, blah. Care to hazard a guess when J.K. Rowling's public transphobia started?
2020.
2020.
The end of
Oh, yeah,
2019.
The end
yeah.
of this same year. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it was right
the
before the
end of
pandemic.
2019.
Don't see her any lists later on.
Yeah, no, because they want to
exactly.
keep it in now because they're like, no, let her have her say. I know 10 years ago I was talking about boys shooting magic out of their hands and they were all going to hell for it, but now it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
F off.
Well,
I got to
and
do two
if-
birds for those people. Here they are, 2 birds, fresh from the bird
Yay.
factory. Enjoy these. Put them where you want them. All right. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, by the way,
no, I love
sorry.
it.
There's
I love
a quick
That's
one.
Exactly. If I wanted to be really conspiratorial,
Yeah.
I could say like, hey, look at that. Harry Potter series ended up on a banned book list, and probably, sales and interest were kind of waning at that point.
Yeah.
You could argue that maybe it was a calculated move
Well, let me
to
make
stir up controversy.
it's possible, but I don't know. Conspiratorial for sure.
But I'm not saying it was, and I'm not a conspiratorial person, but I know some people have argued that like every time she's got some new media that's coming out is when she acts particularly poorly publicly.
Yeah.
So
Here's the
that
thing,
may
though.
not have been the initial
Or
impetus,
is it
but it's
just
like,
that-
hey, let's stick with what works.
Right.
Or is it just that she tends to say these things when she's on a press junket?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
That she says them all the time, but the only time anybody hears her is when they've got a microphone in front of her to promote her new thing.
Here's the thing,
Yeah,
though. Like,
that's
there,
entirely
I am. I want to make something clear because the emails are already percolating. I want to say this.
Sure.
So
you
people
hear the typing in the
I just want
distance,
I want people to know where I'm coming from. What bothers me the most is not about people having differing opinions. What bothers me the most is abject hypocrisy. That's what bothers me, always, from any side.
Sure.
So, for example, number 9 on 2016's list was a book called Little Bill. It was a series. It was written by Bill Cosby and illustrated by some lady. The reason it was being challenged or banned or being told to take out of schools was because of the criminal sexual allegations against the author at the time, which have now, resulted in jail time and all that. I don't think you should ban that shit either. You can all have an opinion about how it sucks that he's got something on the market and it's a thing that you can buy and sell and it's a thing. I get it. Totally have that opinion. But I have a don't burn books rule across the spectrum as far as it can go into the horizon. I don't care who you are, because I know people who would say, no, that's good. Get rid of that one. But don't take this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
not
you don't
cool.
have to buy any more copies.
Don't buy
but
anything
there's
if you
no
don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
In fact, be vocal about how you can say to people, I don't think people should read this book. That's as far as that gets to go. You don't get to go to the library and say, take this out of here, or we're burning that stack of these, or whatever. Every time that's happened in history, nothing good comes from it. Ever.
Totally
So
agree.
that's my whole
and my
thing.
problem is all of this that's happening now, where they're banning books and doing all this, is these don't say gay bills and whatnot. It's under the guise of, we're trying to protect the children. Protect your own damn children and let me protect mine. You don't get to tell me what books should be in my child's library. If you don't want your child to read something, maybe talk to your child.
Yeah.
Again,
exactly.
what you're describing,
why this thing is
what you're describing
Mind your
once
own
again,
business,
you're describing once again that hypocrisy that I hate. It's one thing to say. So, for example, I think it's perfectly within somebody's rights to say, I'm not getting vaccinated, and neither are my kids. Fine. Make that choice. Do your thing. Nobody's forcing you, even though you pretend they are. Just don't get vaccinated. But then don't turn around immediately and say, I'm going to ban all drag shows because they're grooming kids and I don't want the kids. You're doing the same thing. So take your hypocrisy and shove it straight up your bunghole, and then put some dirt up in there to pack it in real good, and then maybe cement the outside of your bunghole so it can never escape again. That's my take. That's my hot take.
So those of you who have missed like Angry Scott from back in the days when Jury was on the show, congratulations. I brought him back for you. You're
well
welcome.
done. Well
Just
done.
in time for Therapy Thursday.
Right?
Rise from your grave is what you told me to do. No,
I totally agree with you though, Scott. Like you can ask Chuck. We can talk about this in Vegas. Like I get really heated about it. And like Chuck is like, yep, I agree with you. Stop yelling. You're freaking
stop
out the
yelling at
chihuahua.
everybody. Yeah. Like I just, I get what I get maddest about is, and now it's almost preemptive because someone's gonna, if you come to it with different perspectives, and you're gonna have a different take. I just want my take to be extremely clear. It's your hypocrisy that bothers me, not your differing opinions. So it's one thing to say, I don't want to do a thing. It's another thing to say, I don't want to let you do a thing.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's the whole
Correct.
thing for me. It boils down to that. Have your own weird beliefs, have your own shitty takes, whatever you want to do. Those are yours to have, but don't be telling me how to have them. That's it. That's it. Simple as that. And that goes for books. That goes for movies. That goes for any kind of content. Like, look, I think it's cool that there are, if you're somebody who painstakingly goes through books and crosses out stuff that offends you so that your kids won't read them and then you hand them to your kids, you're a bad parent, but go ahead. It's your job until they're 18.
It's your choice.
And when they're 18, I hope they freaking rebel. But my point is, I'm not going to force them to rebel any more than you're going to force my kids to do your weird shit. So, so stop it.
Right. Well, and also, it pains me how many people rail against a book that they've never actually read.
Yeah.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Or
anything.
I'm
not
like,
just
you don't
book,
actually even know what's in that book. You don't know anything about it. You're just, like you saw the word gay in a title and freaked out.
Oh, this is great.
That's the thing that gets me is like, oh, I'm going to speak at length about a thing I intentionally don't know about.
Check this out. In 2015, I was still looking at this list. There were 2 things that were asked to be banned that year, and this illustrates my point completely. 50 Shades of Grey, for all the reasons that are obvious, and the Holy Bible, for all the reasons that are obvious.
Shouldn't they have banned 50 Shades of Grey just because it's bad?
Brian's take is only ban it if it sucks. And that's not a bad idea. There's a lot of shitty stuff out there.
I know there's a lot of people in the audience who read it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, I actually own the movies thanks to Sebastian, former Mashup Man, because for a while he was sending me birthday gifts that were related to whatever age I was turning. And so when I turned 50, he sent me the box set of 50 Shades of Grey. So I have all 3 movies on Blu-ray. Oh no, it's really cool. Like Sum 41 I got when I turned 41. Hitchhiker's Guide I got when I turned 42. It's very cool that he did that. And it was
that
super
is
nice.
that is very cool.
And what else are you going to do for 50? If that's perfect for 50, what else are you going to even do?
It's perfect for 50, and those movies are just sitting right over there, and I haven't watched them, and it's like,
See, I would much rather, say, hey, I see problematic things in this text. Here, let's talk about them. And I have kept my kids from reading certain things because I didn't feel like they were age appropriate for them at the time. And I felt like they would not be able to handle them or not be able to make sense of them in a way that was age appropriate. Right. Like I wouldn't have given my kids Looking for Alaska to read when they were 6. But if it's age appropriate, let's read it and talk about it.
Right.
You know? And let's talk about why is this problematic? Similar to, the Bill Cosby thing. Hey, let's talk about why this guy is problematic now.
Yeah. And
Well,
what makes this book problematic?
You don't learn anything by burying it. You don't learn anything by keeping silent about it, and you only help the people that are oppressing other people. You don't help us move forward as humans by silencing people.
Yeah.
So.
And the next time one of you says I stand for freedom, I expect you to offer that same opportunity to everyone around you. Okay?
We have a visiting kitten who rarely makes a basement appearance.
Oh my gosh.
Kitten!
Look at that. Oh my gosh. What a beautiful kitty. Oh,
really happy to be held right now, by the way.
Yeah, you can tell he's super stoked about it.
Oh, we got the meow. That's so cute.
She's like,
is she clawed or declawed? I can't remember.
She is not declawed. We'll trim, but we won't declaw cats.
Yes. I just wondered if the rescue was
but
that.
when I finally found out what declawing cats entailed, I was really
it's awful, dude.
Traumatized. I was like, I will never do that ever.
It's horrible.
Not
never
that
do
I
that.
have cats because I'm super allergic to them, but I used to have a cat that looked exactly like that when I was growing up. Her name was Crayola.
Oh,
cute.
That's adorable.
I still think is a great name for
It's
a
a
cat.
great name. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a brand name even. You've named it after
Yep.
a manufacturer of fine coloring implements.
Exactly.
I like that a
yeah.
lot.
My
Uh-oh.
dog is pissed off. I'm talking about this
yeah.
cat.
Cat
Oh,
talk,
shit.
yeah. Oh, we've
All right.
angered the.
That's all
hilarious.
right. That brings us to the end of this discussion. It's been a good one, though. I think it's always good to be reminded. It's important to let.
So everybody go out this week. I don't care which one. Whatever. Just go pick a book that's on a banned book list. They're easier to find than you think, and read it.
Yeah.
And the link on quicktms.li today will be a link to that list of banned and challenged books
Nice.
by year, which I think is a really good thing for folks to check out.
Yeah, go check it out and see for yourself what people think should go, and then make up your mind to never have any of it go. Make your own choices, okay?
Yeah.
And don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen here, see? All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you, Red Fraggle, a.k.a. Amy. It's the other way around. Amy, have a fantastic week, and may all your books be unbanned. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
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 All right, we got time for a little bit of news. It's time for a little bit of news, and it's brought to you by...
Brought to you by Coverville, celebrating the 60th anniversary. Is that right? That seems like, I guess that would be right. Of the album released in 1963. I still feel like I'm doing the math wrong. Am I doing the math wrong?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Scott, do the math real quick.
I don't know the math.
Of the very first album released by the Beatles, Please Please Me. It is the anniversary was released on this date. Yes, 63, 60 years ago. Thank you. I just felt like I was doing the math wrong, but anyway, released 60 years ago, the first album released by the Beatles, and one that surprisingly is filled with covers, believe it or not. It was half originals, half covers. So find out which songs were not originally by the Beatles on that album, and then hear covers of every single song on that album coming up today. Twitch.tv/Coverville.
I finally understand the math of your text here, because I could not figure out what Please X to Me was.
Because I don't want you to spoil it. I don't want you to say, Brian, please tell me about Coverville and why it's Please Please Me.
Oh, do I do that with Coverville? I didn't know I did that.
Not with Coverville, no.
Oh.
You do it with other links that I put in the pre-show.
Oh,
so
yeah. I shouldn't do that. All right.
Yes.
I'll stay away from that.
So I'm usually cryptic in those, decide to be cryptic here
I'm
as
like,
well.
Please X-Men to me. A Please X. I could not figure it out, but
That's
now
right.
I get it.
The X-Men sequel, X2.
X2,
Please me.
colon me.
Right.
All right, let's talk about brine shrimp becoming Utah's official state crustacean.
Yeah, please make sure you keep pronouncing it brine shrimp, not Brian shrimp.
Yeah, not Brian shrimp. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Don't do
No,
that.
it's a very different thing.
Brine shrimp
Brine
has
shrimp.
become our official crustacean here in Utah after Governor Cox signs the bill. The brine shrimp, tiny crustacean that has lived in the Great Salt Lake area for at least 600,000 years. Like if you go out to the Great Salt Lake, which is currently in a little bit of trouble because we had such horrible
Becoming
drought.
less great. Yeah.
They're doing some stuff about it, but anyway, it's full of brine shrimp and it stinks. That's the reason when you go out there and it reeks so bad. It's not because of the salt content or any of that, or that it's just sort of stagnant. It's this shrimp, and during certain parts of the year, they just swarm the place. They're everywhere. Well, they are now officially the state crustacean, and Governor Cox signed this bill, HB 317, into law on Friday, creating the official designation. Quote, "The importance of the brine shrimp in the Great Salt Lake ecosystem cannot be overstated," said the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources Great Salt Lake Ecosystem Program Manager John Luft. "We are thrilled about the designation of the brine shrimp as the state crustacean and the attention they are getting for their role in the Great Salt Lake. Brine shrimp are about half an inch long. In the fall, they produce eggs. These are called cysts. That's a real bummer of a name.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate name for your offspring.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's what I called my kids when they were born, little cysts. Which are harvested by private companies and used as food or for fish and commercially grown shrimp, sometimes called sea monkeys. So if you ever wonder where you get your sea monkeys from,
Yeah, they're just brine shrimp, and so if the Great Salt Lake runs out, right, then don't worry. I know where you can get them for $1.99 for a bag online.
this is how we'll replenish the
You might
ecosystem.
need to spend $19.99 first on the habitat for their little tridents and their castles that apparently they live in.
Nice. There were 3 things as a kid that flummoxed me. Sea monkeys.
Yeah.
The other one
I'm
was.
gonna guess the other one.
Guess it.
X-ray specs.
Close, but not. It's on the. Let's say it's in the top 10. But for me, it was chia pets. Just because now I know exactly how they work. But as a kid, I just was like, what?
Really?
How are these? How are these like ceramic pigs growing leaf hair? Like I just didn't understand it. And then the other one was magic sand. To this day, I just am
really?
blown away by magic sand. You know, put it in the water, come out dry. How's that even possible? What's going on?
Yeah, right.
So that was always
No,
a weird
that's a
thing.
good point. God, what X-ray specs were one of those things for me. I'm trying to think of what else. Like you see these on the advertisements, usually like targeted towards us during syndicated Leave It to Beaver or something.
Mm-hmm. Or in the back of a comic book or whatever.
Mexican jumping beans are one of those things for me. Yep, right.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one.
Oh, it's really just a worm in there that's
Cameron says magnets.
Having a horrible life.
Yeah, no, that's true. Magnets, sure, I guess, but I feel like I learned more about magnets early on, so I didn't really.
You learn those pretty quickly with the kitchen refrigerator. Yeah. Basically, it's like, oh, click. Okay, I guess I get that figured out. Oh, these little letters, I can spell things with. They stick to the fridge, but they don't leave residue. Okay, magnets. I understand them now.
That seemed like a thing, but yeah, still to this day, though, if you give me a handful of magic sand, I'm blown away by it. I think that's really cool. Even though that time I went to Carl's Jr. and got that salad and there was a big dirt clod in it, and I broke that dirt clod.
I think that was magic dirt.
Oh, it almost was because when it looked wet on the outside, but I tapped it with a fork and it went and was all dry on the inside, which isn't the same as magic sand, but
that's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, and if a bunch of you youngins out there not know what magic sand is, look that up. It's weird. It's real weird.
Watch the YouTube commercial that we all got subjected to ad infinitum when we were kids, and blew our little minds.
Yeah, our wee brains.
Add that Bobby Franks add magic sand to all around science.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Or bring it on here and do a Tuesday about it.
Yeah, yes, that's even better. Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna guest host on Tuesday while you're out. Oh, we're starting a half hour late on Tuesday because he's flying until then, so 9:30 on Tuesday.
Oh, we can't do a show from the plane? Lame.
Well, tell me how the internet is up there, and I'll take you up on that. Wednesday, though, Brian will be in Vegas, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, and we'll figure out what I can do out there. Whether maybe I'll be walking on Fremont Street. Maybe I'll be in the hotel room. Who knows?
I was thinking that last time we had pretty good luck with your 5G tether, didn't we? Didn't that work out?
We did, yeah.
We might do that.
Yeah, might be what I have to use, and maybe I'll just do that in the hotel room. Yeah. It's not like I'm walking through Black Spire Outpost at Disneyland. It's going to be, way noisier and way more distracting.
There you go.
We'll figure it out.
I'm sure the crustacean of your state, wherever you live, like if you live in Maine, it's probably lobsters. If you live in
Maryland, it's probably crabs.
Probably crabs, yeah.
Sure.
Maybe even Alaska. I don't know. I don't know if any of you have crustaceans, but now ours are those ugly, smelly, little 2-inch freaking gross little shrimps.
Yeah, it's just feels like such a choice.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong one.
Such an interesting choice.
It's got a long history here, so I think and we're landlocked, so we don't have anything else. Like what else are we gonna have? Like what would you guys do? Like Colorado have any kind of like?
Probably the leopard. The leopard, is it the leopard snail? Leopard mollusk? I guess it's not a crustacean. It's a.
You have a mollusk then.
It's a mollusk.
State mollusk. Here. That'd be cool. I think we have those too. I like those. Those look good.
Yeah, except there it is. Oh no, that's not it. Leopard mollusk. What is it? Leopard slug? It's not the leopard slug. Maybe it is the leopard snail, but it's less the official. I cannot find it.
Chat room says crawdads, but they're not. Those aren't crustaceans either. Those are classified as something else, and we have those.
Are they
too.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're mud bugs, but I don't know what you call them though.
I would think that they're crustaceans because they have the exoskeleton. Basically, they're
little tiny
exoskeletons on the outside, like a lobster.
Classification. Let's see what these are called. I'm curious. Crayfish description.
Oh, zebra mollusk. I think that's it. Maybe.
Zebra mollusk?
Zebra mollusks. Because the problem is they stick to boats, and now every time you go into a... oh, no, it's definitely not zebra mollusks. Those we don't have there. Zebra mussels, I mean. Yeah, anyway.
I'm trying to see if it Let's see. I mean, the largest. Those are crazy names for these things, but none of them are crustacean. Let's see. Genus. I can't find it. Someone will find it. I would have gone that way. They're better looking, and they're still mud bugs and kind of gross, but I'd still pick those over.
Crayfish or freshwater crustaceans?
They are crustaceans. We had that choice, and we went this way. We have a ton of those.
I know, and they're tastier. Like, you can throw those into a nice etouffee.
Boo! That sounds really good right now.
You can't even make popcorn shrimp out of brine shrimp.
No, you can't do anything with it.
Brine
Well, you
shrimp.
can you can sell it to idiots and call them sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys. Yeah, exactly.
We're going to take a break, and on the other side, my sister Wendy will be here. She's a therapist with real ideas to share with us, so we'll find out what those are coming right up. But before we do that, Brian's going to share a song with us. What do you have?
Let's go to San Luis Obispo in California for a band called The Ragged Jubilee. This is a band that recorded their brand new LP, Mulholland Overdrive, great name, with Rob Campanella, who's part of the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Listen, you've heard these guys. You've heard them on shows like Ozark, Supergirl, Walker, Shameless, Father Stew, Buddy Games, and much, much more. The Ragged Jubilee finally getting a brand new LP out, again, called Mulholland Overdrive. This is the first song from it. It is called Love Junkie.
The whole world knows John Lennon was murdered, but we know almost nothing about his killer until now.
Doop-doo, skidooty-bada-bot-do.
The Morning Stream. Hey, don't shoot. We're peaceful. Honest to God, all right?
And we're back. Regale me with information about that band.
Gladly. That's a band called The Ragged Jubilee from San Luis Obispo, California. Brand new album called Mulholland Overdrive. And this thing actually got recorded in 2020, but needed so much time to get released, especially with pandemics and lockdowns and producers not available because of that. So it's available now. Mulholland Overdrive by Ragged Jubilee. That was the song Love Junkie.
Nice. Do you think there are a lot of bands who get their music on TV, but there's probably like a short list of bands that are just like always churning into television use. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I feel like Tegan and Sarah got a lot of that action in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I always liked that though.
Yeah, Pomplamoose. They're going to be on. Their song is going to be on Ted Lasso today.
Oh, that's cool.
The episode that premieres today. Good old Pomplamoose.
Nice.
A favorite here.
We love them here on this show.
Yes.
Well, speaking of love.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, speaking of love, we got some real love on the phone in the form of my sister. Here's her little intro.
Wendy.
Random.
Not a chance.
Okay, that's what we hear. It's my sister Wendy, everybody. She is here from Minnesota. Not really here, but she's on the line, and she's here to help us with our problems because she's an actual practicing therapist that does that stuff all the time. Wendy, how the heck are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good.
Good.
You had a little family getaway, I heard. That sounds like fun. Did you guys do something fun?
We did. It was very fun.
Yeah, got away.
Yeah. Got away. What do you call it? Spring break. That's the word.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Anyway. And the kids are they all back into school
and
today?
They're back in the groove, and it's
what a time to be alive.
Confusing. It's confusing.
It is confusing.
And then daylight savings happens in the middle of it, and you're like, I don't know where I am. So that was rough.
It's only like 1 hour,
Actually,
but it feels that way, doesn't it?
That helped my sleep so much because I would start dozing off at 9 o'clock at night and I'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm going to bed at 10 and waking up at 5 and it's kind of perfect.
Oh, did it stick then? It stuck then is what you're saying.
It stuck. Yeah, it was, I have the occasional like wake up at 4 and still have to go to the bathroom, but I go back to bed, I fall back asleep and 5:30. So it's kind of working out.
Do you find that it sticks through and will this end up being you'll be back to the 9 to 4 again when it rolls?
Probably when in October when things revert back.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows? Yeah. Probably.
All right. Yeah. We all need to move to Arizona. But only for this one reason because they have.
And note places that don't do this have sunshine all the time. So there's a reason I think it's for that. But I don't understand it and I hate it. Anyway.
I don't like it either. Well, sorry, farmers, we don't get it. Wendy, it's good to have you back. We're gonna talk about. Actually, we were kind of winging it today. I don't even know what you're bringing today. So tell me what you brought. What do you have?
We're gonna wing it. Well, okay. So I had a bunch of different ideas, and then things went left and right, and now I'm really winging it.
Sweet.
Okay.
All
So
right.
everyone, get excited, get excited. So I have a couple options. I'm going to give you a choice. It's like choose your own adventure. Okay.
Cool. All right.
So one is just going to be like a very free form discussion about observation as a general thing, and kind of what you get out of something or what it says about you, how you observe something. There's that one. And then the other one is it's just like a little teaser of something we do in Real Steps. We've done this last little while that is really fun and effective and is a cool little trick. It's like a little TikTok hack I will do live.
Okay.
So what do you want to choose?
All right.
I kind of like the second one. I like
two.
the because you're very mysterious about what that little trick is, and so it worked on me.
It worked on me too. I feel like
curiosity peaked.
I feel like our show will benefit from this bit of mystery. So I'm with Brine. Number 2.
All right,
we'll
fine.
take number 2.
Do number 2. And so those who do Real Steps will be like, wait a minute, I already did that. But you should do it anyway.
All right.
So I actually have something to send you. I gotta time it right so you don't put it up too early. It's all about timing.
All right. Where are you sending it, by the way? Text or just so I'm
where
ready?
would you like it?
You can put it here. You can put it here in Discord, but if you're on your phone, it probably is less convenient. So if you want text is fine. Do text. That's fine. Whatever's easy.
I'm going to text it to you. Do not. I'm not going to send it till I'm ready.
That's fine.
And then
I've got it behind me.
And pasted in our Discord. So
I won't see it until you do it because I have it in the background. It will remind me when you do. So it's all set to go when you're ready.
Okay, excellent. All right. Here we are. Okay, so we've talked about, lots of things on this show before. And one of the things, I think we hint to a lot is like, taking out your own garbage and making sure you get your stuff dealt with before, put your mask on your face before you help
a child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, easier said than done, of course, but like, here's just an example. And really what we're saying there is change. Just do it different.
Just change.
Figure it out. Yeah. And that is a hard thing to just do, right? We are humans we have tendencies, creatures of habit. We tend to have patterns that got established probably a long time ago, and they just keep repeating themselves. I think we've talked about this a little bit before where it's like, hey, look back at all your romantic relationships. What's a thread that runs through them? I mean, that's a lot of the questions I ask people is like, I'm getting data. It's good for people to share their stories, of course. But one of the things I'm doing in my head at the same time is I'm noting the patterns that I can see because it's easier to see when someone else cannot, you can't see them so well in your own life, which is such a funny trait we have as a species, right? Like our self-awareness, we do know this, we are pretty bad at it. Some studies show that 90% of people think they're self-aware and the actual number is like 8%, 8 or 10% are self-aware. So we're all lying to ourselves that we're good at this, right? Like that's how unself-aware we tend to be. So anyway, we don't really see our patterns. We don't really know exactly what we're doing, but we may find like the shrapnel or the mess that is left behind after a certain thing that starts to seem familiar. Like, why do I always end up here? Or, that kind of question. So this is tricky stuff. So if you feel like, I don't know why my life sucks, but I should do something about it. I don't know how. It's hard. Or you've tried to change anything. This episode is for you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, look at me, just still doing the preamble. Okay. So
you said something. You know what's funny though? Earlier this week, I was thinking of you a little bit because somebody was trying to tell me that they were sure everything they did in their life was predetermined. Everything they did. So they got up when they got up. They did the thing they didn't do the thing they didn't do, all because it was already part of a blueprint that we're just not aware of. Every single step of your day is 100% already. It's basically already done. You're just going through the motions of doing it. You're pre-programmed to do every single beat of the day.
So they don't even feel like they can say, I'm going to do something that out of the ordinary because even that would be expected.
Yeah. So
no
this
spontaneity.
This whole free will versus no free will thing, What I would say to people is, if you're trying to make a change in your life, don't hang around those people. Okay. Because they're convinced everything good and bad is already written, and I just think it's not going to help you to have them be your coffee friend in the afternoon. That's all I'm saying. All right, Wendy, go
Okay,
ahead.
that is an I mean, that's a whole other. I could wing that for an hour, and I'm not going to. But that is curious, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that do for you to believe that? And then what does it do for people who don't believe that, right? Like, where do we each get from our worldview is an interesting question to follow up on. Like,
I mean, to me, it feels like
do you feel more secure?
It just feels like a lousy excuse to me. Like, if your things are going poorly for you and you just can't seem to catch a break,
right?
That's just your way of going, well, I give up. Like, to me, that's what that is. But I could, maybe there's more nuance to it, and somebody who feels that way.
It is a way for somebody to say, the bad things that happen in my life, they happen for a reason. They happen to make me smarter or more or tougher or whatever. That's kind of there's a little bit of a positive way to look at it, but I don't think these people are looking at it in a positive way.
No.
They're using it as excuse for like, my life sucks and I can't do anything about it because that's the way my
because I'm actually with that idea of like negative things can be helpful. You can take them in stride. You can learn from them. Like, that's absolutely true. I think
for sure,
100%. But the idea that
you're taking the exact same experience of life and figuring out how it works for you, which is flipping it to see that it's a beneficial, right? And they're doing the exact same thing by having it all be predetermined gives them something, but I don't quite know what it is.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
All right, we don't have to go there, but maybe stability. Maybe it's also just like, it's really hard to wrestle with the messiness of life.
Yeah.
Right. To try to understand why something happens. And really I don't want it to happen to me. So I got to understand why it happened to them, or, whatever that might be.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Distracted long enough. Here we go. Bring it back.
All right.
Okay. So change is hard, and change is hard because, and when you think about it, like a neural network has been created. So I have a thought, I have a response, I have a behavior, I have, these different things that occur, and think of them like wires getting wired together. So a neuron fires and it keeps firing with this other neuron, and eventually they are wiring together to create a network. Okay. And that's occurring from a very young age. That's how we're getting our wrinkled brains, is neurons are firing and wiring together. And the more diverse experiences you have, or different kinds of people you meet, like you're creating way more complexity than if you just sort of lived in the same house, never left, and only knew 3 people. You're not going to have a very wrinkly brain. And that idea is that's growth and change, and it's happening throughout your life, whether you like it or not. That's going to keep happening. Some of you might recognize this experience of having a neuron die. You're like, and that memory's gone, or like something's been pruned, you no longer can do it. I have this when I need to do something physical, and my old memory of how my body moved is not the same as my current memory, current ability, right? Like you ever experienced kind of neural death a little bit that way. And then we've all experienced ahas or epiphanies where like a little spark and these 2 neurons fire together and you're like, bah, and it feels kind of awesome, right?
Yeah, it's a nice experience. Sure.
Here's a question. When was the last time either of you had that experience where it's a new thought, a thing you'd never thought of before, an angle that you didn't know existed, someone told you about, you put 2 and 2 together about something you've observed?
It's a thing of scale though, right? Like I can name a couple of small ones recently. And
small's good. Small is what
good?
I'm getting at.
Okay. Well, for me, this is going to sound so boring. It was
more boring, better.
It was me integrating a password manager more fully in my life, and part of it was brought on by this idea of I have someone I know whose relative passed away suddenly at a very young age, and it was completely unexpected, and the people in the aftermath have no access to any of the stuff he had, like the bank accounts, all of it, right? Like all of it was they just hadn't thought ahead because no one thinks about this, very often. And so I got this feeling of like, well, I've been this, like I subscribe to this 1Password app and I love it. It's amazing. And I use it, but I don't use it as fully as I could. And I realized just how much of my stuff is in my own head and not somewhere, like not written down, not scurried away somewhere. And so I had this moment of, I'm going full bore, and I took like 3 hours of an afternoon and just went and made sure everything was there, transferred stuff, changed a bunch of passwords that were kind of weak and lame and just big complicated ones so that nobody could hack me, made sure all my 2-factor authentication was good. Like this moment of like, I'm going to tighten this down.
Yeah.
And that was a kind of an epiphany because for whatever reason, it just never occurred to me before. And it was like this moment of, oh yeah, I really should do it. And I have all the tools to do it. So why am I not doing it? Let's just do it. So if that counts, I did that.
That counts. And here's what I love about it. I love that it's the spark of the idea. You could die suddenly and your passwords are over the place and it really makes your family miserable. So there was the new neural firing, right?
Yeah.
A thing you didn't think about or know about before. Then you moved it into action. And that's actually where most of us struggle. We can have the great idea or the new thought, and it doesn't always lead to action because you could have just kept putting it off and knowing you still needed to do it. So that's a great example of like having a new neural pathway create momentum and do a thing. So that's awesome. Okay, how about you, Brine? What's your most recent epiphany?
Mine's going to be boring too, but it
Perfect.
came from me having some problems with the current ISP switch and having problems with a power supply. I actually talked about this, I think, on Monday or Tuesday on the show. Ended up buying a new power supply, and as I was setting it up, I was thinking, oh, you know what? I can actually work a couple of the other things in the studio onto that switch to save energy and figure out these things that are kind of always on in here that don't need to be on when I'm upstairs or out of the house or whatever. And so it was a matter of realizing that I could put some of these other things on that same switch. Again, kind of a boring one, but it was this kind of aha moment that kind of hit me there.
I think people like you and I, where we're always tweaking our setups and we're always upping our output, and we're always trying to figure out a way to improve processes and things like that. I think we probably get these little ones more often than maybe. I shouldn't say more often than other people. Everybody has their version of this, but I big time relate to that. Like the same thing happened here recently with just a couple of ways I shoot the show out, like how I capture video and audio. And for years I struggled to find a better way, and I'm like, forget it. I guess I'll just live with whatever I have. And here recently I was like, oh no, if I just do that and move this here, oh my gosh, the whole thing's better now. So
like for tech dorks like us, it feels monumental, even though it's like, somebody who knows their Amazon Echo app has done this already a billion times, but yeah.
So anyway,
so boring.
It is boring, but it's exciting for us.
Like
it's the little things for us that pile up. It's good.
Yeah, and that's true for all people. And actually, I'm glad you shared really small things, right? If you had this epiphany that like,
I realized that I just need to leave podcasting and move away from my wife. And
that would not be a thing I wanted to hear on the show today. I can tell you.
Those will come in your life at different times, but they're going to be way more rare than maybe some of these smaller things. Yeah, and most people hearing this are probably like, okay, so when I thought I should clean up my my desk or finally straighten up the living room, and then I didn't, and I just feel bad, right? Like. Mm-hmm. That is not actually what I'm referring to here specifically. I mean, we could have a whole show on that. But this idea of a thought you've never had before is, we call it epiphany. It's kind of a cool experience. And then, it might propel you to new things. Well, what changes is not, I wish it was just as simple as now input, new epiphany, and change. It tends to be that the old wiring is pretty tough stuff, right? It's what we repeat to ourselves. So I always use this analogy. It's a little dumb, but I think it's so visceral for me because I can only imagine it. And I don't imagine a lot of things, as we all know. So anyway, is you're on a treadmill next to somebody and that person is insulting you as you're running.
Yeah.
Or just like, whoa, your knees are weird. Or like, why did your foot land like that? Are you okay? Just critical and unkind. And you absolutely will see an impact on your ability to do the thing you're doing, right? And a lot of us walk around with that soundtrack in your head of this critical voice telling you you're not doing it right or not doing it good enough. And even if you do, blah, blah, blah. And so it really does affect our performance in just basic stuff all the way to the stuff that that matters to us that we're trying to do. So this hack is about switching just a little bit of that, right? Not going down to the deep core of like your father told you we're no good at 5 and now we're fighting that battle, because that's maybe real, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is more of a little more surface version of this. But it's typically the stuff you have said to yourself over and over, the story you have told yourself. And that story, because we have negative bias brains, usually is negative, right? So it could be something like, and I'm going to have you guys both do this, okay? So I hope you have something to write with. I prefer note cards and a pen and a paper.
I got
not a computer, friends.
Okay, you don't want
not
computers?
Hold on. I've got my notebook that I keep handy, which is the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. Got this from my first school when I was a mutant.
Fantastic. Okay. So.
All right, pen in hand, paper in hand. Let's do it.
Paper. All right, good. All right, so what I need, you don't have to write yet, but I just need you to write it eventually. So we're going to do this thing, and essentially, and I can give you the link to the study if you guys want to read it. But there's a study that shows if you switch one word to another word, you are 8 times more likely to change a habit.
If you change the word, the positions of the word, or just
one word to a different word.
Oh, to a different word. Okay.
8 times, more likely to be successful at changing a habit.
Everybody at home, all you live listeners right now, pull out your paper for real. Do this all together. All right.
Yeah, no computer writing because it's not the same.
Yeah, you weirdos.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about that. Okay. Anyway. So here's what I want everyone to do, and you got to kind of do it out loud. So if you're at work, just whisper. No one will know, but whatever. But you're gonna work through a statement that you say to yourself all the time, and this is the word we're gonna change. It's a can't statement. It doesn't mean you're using the word can't necessarily, but it's got the meaning of can't. So for example, I can't get everything done. I'm not smart enough. I never have enough time. I can't get it all done. I overthink constantly. I'll never be good enough. Those kinds of negative, think of it as the person on the treadmill going like, you can't run. It's that can't kind of word. So I want you to be thinking, and I'm going to have you guys do this, and I'll share with you what mine is as well.
I feel very specifically seen and exposed when you talk about the running and saying I can't run very well. I feel very seen.
Sorry.
Because that is so me. I did this on the treadmill yesterday. I'm like, I'm terrible at this. Look at this. Look at this dumb thing.
Someone next to you.
Yeah.
What is the deal?
Yeah, what's going on here? Anyway.
I would love a little experiment like that. Like actually have like anti-trainers in a gym next to people just going like, you're the worst at this. And then watch what people do. Like, do you just keep doing it?
It sounds like a YouTube channel that probably exists. That's why I don't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, so I want you to think, I'm going to give you mine so you can see how to do this. And then I'm going to have you guys share yours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then everyone else, you're going to do this at home, right? So I might have already said one that resonates with you. I'm always overwhelmed. I'm always stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
I am too busy. I can't seem to figure out how to do the thing or whatever, right? All right. So mine was, when I decided to try this out for the first time before I made anyone else do this, mine was, I'm too busy. Like, I'm just too busy.
You're like the caveman that ate the first blueberry and didn't die and then said, all right.
I didn't die. In fact, now I'm an evangelist for this because it's so cool.
That's great.
The blueberry is delicious. Okay, so this is it. I'm too busy and I got too much to do. Always have too much to do. And so if we just take what that looks like in my life, yes, I have 4 children who all are too busy, and my husband and I both work full time, and I got a freaking dog that needs 4,000 walks a day. Yeah. I don't have enough time. I'm too busy. I have too many things. And I say yes to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I do a lot of presentations. I do a lot of, whatever, just talking to random people who need it. And so a lot of time I have dedicated. And so the thing in my head, the treadmill person next to me is like, you're too busy. How are you even here? Yeah. I mean, I'd literally had someone say to me once at an early morning gym class, I mean, how are you here? Aren't you too busy? Yeah. And I'm like, and really, because what has happened is because I say that to myself, because some of it is true. I am too busy, but I say it. And then what do? Is I give that off. So everyone gets to feel the busyness, and then they're not sure they can bother me or ask me a question. Like I have projected it outward, right? So people know. And so for someone to see me in a class at 6 a.m. and think, well, how are you here? It's like, well, because 6 a.m. has nothing else happening. But I've already told you, you already know I'm too busy. So that makes sense why you would wonder how I could be here, right?
Right.
So anyway, that's what I projected out to the world. So I'm going to stop there, and I want you guys to give me your things that you are too something of. You are.
Okay. We have to write these down or what?
Yeah, you're not gonna write down. We're not writing down.
Oh,
You say
really?
them to yourself all the time. Did you already write it
Brian's
down,
so
Brian?
efficient.
I
He already
wrote
wrote
mine
one.
down, but I can tear this page out and rip it up.
Rip it out, Brian. Okay.
all right.
But say out loud what they are. What are your can't statements?
Well, mine's all right. Maybe I need to reword it as a can't. I do the easy things on my to-do list before the more difficult, urgent things that need to get done sooner because they're easy.
Yeah.
So do I need to rephrase that as a can't?
Well, how is it? Make it an insult. Like, how do you say it to yourself as an insult? Like, I
Stupid
cannot get
Brian
this.
always doing the easy things on his to-do.
Yeah. So that's Brian's can't statement. Good. You don't have to use the word can't. It just is
okay.
represented.
But I do need
by
to
that.
form it as an insult.
Yeah.
Brian's too chicken shit to do the hard things on his to-do list.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, when you have gotten not the important things done and just the little things are done,
I mean, I feel
how
like
do you think about it?
Procrastination is big, and so like
There
I
we go.
can't stop procrastinating. Is
Yes.
that good?
Yep.
All right,
Yep. I
okay.
can't stop procrastinating. I love it. Okay.
Can
So
I
that's
write
the
that
can't.
down now on the page?
Nope. Don't write it down.
All right. Okay.
That's your state. You say it enough. We don't need it to be reinforced.
Okay. All right. Good.
Okay. So Scott, how about you? What's yours?
Well, as much as I hate that I share the exact same one with Brian in this case, a separate one would be
Okay, listen. You don't need to entertain us. Use the one you.
No. This is I will. This isn't entertaining at all. I
No, this is height of entertainment.
I think about Dad's death every day and worry that I'm headed toward the same thing.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
I never got over that, and that he was too young, and that it came out of nowhere. And I feel like there are moments in each day where I go, I wonder when that, I think about it a lot. I don't know if that's the same as what you're asking though.
Oh, but this feels like should we table the existing thing with you and have you go?
Well,
I mean,
it's not.
tempting,
I should say
I'm
it's
gonna
not
refrain.
something that like I obsess over or all I think about.
No.
None of that.
Yeah.
But it's
my
just
gosh, yeah.
I think about it once in a while. It's the only time in my life where somebody I was close to was just ripped away like that. Right. Since then, Mom is 84 now or whatever, 83. Like she's doing, and she's no sign of, she'll be here for a bit longer. I'm sure. It just doesn't feel the same. And so that feeling of, and I'm in 10 years of striking distance of when Dad died, I think. That's a weird thing to think about. But this happens when I'll see like, Lance Reddick just died, the actor. Is perfectly fine in every way. Suddenly dies in his home the other day. He's 60. It's not very old. And then my brain immediately goes, oh, that's close to what Dad did. Oh, geez. Wonder how they found him. Who found him? How did that affect his family? I think about that stuff way too often.
Okay.
And I hate
So if we put this in the I can't stop thinking about certain things category. So maybe I can't stop worrying. I can't stop ruminating. I can't, like, how would you put it in the way you would describe this thing that you do? Again, it's the criticism of the running. It's not the running itself, right? The running is the actual existential dread you're going through.
Okay,
right?
that voice.
criticism of the
So the sentence that voice would tell me is, you worry about this too much, and there's nothing you can do about it. So knock it off. I get that
So
a
the
lot.
criticism is that you can't stop worrying about it. So it would be, I can't stop worrying about Dad's
There you go.
death
Yeah,
or
I
my
can't
own
stop
demise.
worrying about. I can't stop thinking about his death and its
Demise.
implications. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's yours. Keep that in your head. Brian, you got yours in your head. I
Got
got
mine.
mine.
Mhm.
I am too busy. Okay.
Mhm.
So everyone else, see, it takes a little work. So good luck over there on your own. Figuring out what is it, the statement that kind of always is the storyline, right? Like if a random person interviewed you and just said, hey, what's your main thought about what you're not doing right? And it would be something like that. Like, I can't get everything done. I'm too stressed out. I procrastinate. I ruin relationships, whatever the can't statement is. Okay, so now you hold the can't statement. That is neurologically wired right now in your brain, has been for obviously Scott since the year 2000 for you, right? Like that thing has a home in your head physically.
Yeah.
So what we're about to do, and this is why this hack is so fun, is that we're going to create a new neural network to replace this one. So it's like one at a time. And this is change ultimately is slowly building new neural networks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just to do one really fast. That's really fun.
Okay. All right.
All right. So now we're going to find the don't statement. So we're moving it from a can't statement to a don't statement. So I'll tell you mine first. And the idea, well, let me start with this question. Do either of you do murder?
Do murder.
Do you do murder?
I do not do murder.
I don't do murder. No, I've never
I don't
done.
do murder.
I've never
There's
done
your don't
murder.
statement.
Yeah.
I don't do murder.
I don't do murder.
Boy.
Yeah.
I don't do murder.
It feels like you're trying to entrap me. Is what I feel like.
Yeah. Only guilty people say that, right? So don't do murder. I want, this is the same kind of energy you want to find around our don't statement. Because it's a no-brainer.
Brian doesn't do premeditated murder.
Okay,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. There we go. Yes, thank you. That now I feel better because I felt like it was too much of a generalization. Yes.
Right. But if you think about like, I don't do murder. If you had to just say that at like a party, like, oh, what do you do and don't do? Well, I don't do murder. That would make you real creepy. But it's really solid, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to try to not do murder.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of like a little bit of click we're looking for. So as we do this next thing, this is really key.
Is this kind of like in a lie detector test? This is like what is your name to make sure that we've got a baseline established kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I want to click here. This is, I feel it as a click. My clients have described it as a click. Okay. And I think it's like, maybe that's the sound it makes when two neurons fire together. I don't know.
Okay.
But the idea is that we're going to find a don't statement that feels right. Okay. And so we'll work it until it feels right. So here's mine. I don't do too busy or stressed out. And then I have a second little line that I say, there's always time for what is most important. That's mine. That clicked. That is what is written on a little 3x5 note card. It's set next to my desk. I see it every single day. I forget it's even there, right? But like I turn on my lamp and glance at it. And I will get to what has happened once I did this, but I need you to find yours first. Okay, so Brian, let's take your can't statement. Say what's your don't statement?
So I don't do procrastinating. And then what's my follow-up? Because I have to have like the follow-up thing, right? Like you
don't have to, but if it resonates, only if it resonates.
Well, it definitely does. I don't do procrastinating. I tackle the most urgent item on my to-do list first.
Okay. So I don't procrastinate.
Yep.
I don't do procrastination.
I don't do procrastinating because I like, instead of saying I don't commit murder, I don't do procrastination.
Yeah, think of it as this way. You don't do Santeria, right? That's the song. We don't do things. Yeah. I like that.
So I don't do procrastination. I like it. So write that down, Brian.
Write that down.
I don't do procrastination, and then do your little subtitle, which is I tackle the big things first. Or however you want to write it, that feels like it flows. And what we're doing is we're replacing the thought you had before with this new belief/thought. It's a thought that turns into a belief. And I'll show you how that works. Okay. So does that click in your brain at all? Do you feel it?
It does actually, yes. As I'm writing it, I'm kind of feeling it like.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Totally. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. All right, Scott, let's do yours.
Name a therapist that ever said, yeah, baby, and you did anything. That's amazing.
I do all the time.
All right, this one's tricky. So we have our can't statement. I can't stop thinking about Dad's death and its implications.
Okay.
My can statement, or is it my do statement, or will?
I don't.
I don't
do something. What don't you do?
But to counter this though, right?
Yeah.
Like Brian's doing.
Okay, let's just brainstorm for a second. I don't worry about my death. I don't
because the more I've thought about it
overthink.
since I first told you this, the more I think about it, the more this is maybe too complicated, because part of it is I don't want to do this to my own kids and be gone. I also just don't like the feeling of this inevitability. It's just annoying. But
Okay,
the other
so
thing
hold
is, okay, go
It's
ahead.
it's not that it's too complicated. It's that you have to try on something to not do here, right?
Yeah.
Because everything's complicated. You don't think procrastination is complicated?
No,
It's
you're right.
complicated.
You're right. None of
So
it's simple.
I don't do overthinking. Let me just throw out a couple words and we're going to find one that fits. I don't do overthinking. I don't do overworrying. I don't do trying to control something I can't. I don't, that kind of thing. Keep going.
Well, I like that last one. Don't try to control. Like it's funny how often the Alcoholics Anonymous thing comes up in my head about accept the things I can control and the things I can't. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I understand why that's helpful, because it is helpful for me to say that. I don't pay attention to any of the other stuff in there because I don't drink alcohol. I don't go to Alcoholics Anonymous, so I don't really have a connection to it outside of that. But hearing that one always resonates with me, and it reminds me, it's like you can't control this stuff. And that helps with the complexities of what I'm talking about. Like, part of my problem is, if I were to go right now, kill over dead on the show live, what legacy am I leaving? Did I leave one? Did I have an impact? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I did or didn't.
So what you're saying is you're going to worry about something you're not going to do one thing about.
Yeah, see, that's why it's so freaking annoying, is it feels like I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're learning here.
I don't worry about things out of my control.
All right, I'm going to write this down. I
Okay,
don't
is
worry.
it quick though?
It does, about things more than anything, because again, like I say, that
And
AA
you can tweak
thing comes
it
up
as you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't worry about things that are out of my control.
Things out of my control.
Okay, do you need a little sub-sentence?
Sure. Boy, my
How
handwriting's
about,
bad.
Anyway.
Notice
Notice mine, and Brian's is a good example. Brian's is an action part. Mine is also, mine's just a time optimism thing. Like, there's always time for what's most important. I truly believe that. You always have time. And you can make what is most important there. And it feels real. It does now. I don't think it did 7 months ago. Right? So you can tweak it, but it's got to feel true and real to you too, even though it's not something you've been practiced saying to yourself. So I don't do, what's your main sentence again?
Brian's?
No, yours.
Oh, mine, sorry. My main can't sentence is can't stop thinking about the implications of Dad's death.
No, stop. That's done. We're done with that sentence.
Oh, I thought you said the can't. You want the don't?
Yeah, do the don't.
I don't worry about things I can't control, or things I don't worry about things out of my control.
Okay. I don't worry about things out of my control. I take action on what I can, or something like that. Do you have something?
So this is good. Let's see. How would you say that though?
I get my passwords all in order, baby. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what it is though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't worry about things I can't control.
It's basically, you're giving me Gandalf's quote. He says, all we can do is what we can only do with the time that we are given.
Yeah.
So that's really what I need, a sentence like that.
Yeah.
I do what I can
with the time I'm given.
With the time I'm given. There.
I love it. A little Gandalf drawing right there. That's perfect.
Time I'm given. All right.
Okay. Now I want you both to do this. I want you both read your full card out loud to us. Each of you do it one time. So go Brine first.
Okay. I don't do procrastination. I tackle the most urgent items first.
Okay, Scott.
I don't. Sorry, my handwriting is so bad. I don't. That's a whole other day.
I can't write.
I can't write well. Typing has ruined my life. All right.
Yeah.
I don't worry about things out of my own control. I do what I can with the time I am given.
Love it. Okay. Now here's your homework. And I'll tell you then why this matters. Okay. Your homework is to read that at least another 2 or 3 times out loud. Say it out loud. And then put it somewhere you see it every day and just read it. right? You can say it out loud or not. We just want this is why you want the click, because it means some neurons tickled each other and are thinking about holding hands, right? And so you're like, let's strengthen the bond by just having this repeated a little bit, right?
Right.
And then all you got to do is see what happens. And then when we talk next week, you guys can come back and report. Anything change? And that's all you've had to do was switch that thought and create this sort of new way to think about it and read it every day.
Do you recommend having this up somewhere? Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Have it where you're going to see it. The mirror, on your toothbrush, wherever. The thing you're going to every day.
I'm sticking it to my the corner of my monitor here.
I'll be putting it in a nice, pretty font, printing it, and then sticking it up in front of me.
Do that.
Because I can't read my own writing.
Control.
Yeah. I can control that. That's right. I can control it.
You can beautify things. Okay, so Scott, I'm going to send you the thing, but don't put it up until I tell you.
Okay. By the way, Scott, can you promise that this won't affect your constant need to point out when all the actors are dead from a movie that we watch?
Oh, it's all connected, dude. It's all connected. Yeah. No, I'm not. I mean, maybe it will help that because
can we fix one and not fix the other.
Because this is what happens, Wendy. Wendy may not know this. I'll watch like Casablanca, okay, some ancient ass movie from the 40s.
Yeah.
And it always occurs to me that the camera view of 30 people in a room, that I picture the room empty because none of them are actually there anymore. They're all dead. And the guy behind the camera can't even move the camera because he's dead. Everyone's dead. Is that a weird thing to think about? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's basically Scott is doing that end shot of The Shining where you're looking at the Overlook Hotel New Year's Eve photograph. Yes. And he's saying, everybody here is dead. They're all ghosts.
Yep, everyone's a ghost except somehow Jack Nicholson is there, and that's weird in its own way. But yeah, I do this all the time, and it's hard for me not to want to know. I'll see an older actor in an 80s movie and goes, he's still around. Like, it's a thing.
It is a thing, and that is more
you
like
look and see how old they are. Like when we talked about Greg Kirsten, the first thing you looked up was, he's only 2 months older than me.
Right? I did it today.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, look at him rock and rolling still. Like there's
if that makes any difference to what he's done or who he is or anything.
No,
like that.
Exactly. I don't know why it's a thing, but anyway.
All right. Okay, let's look at the thing that Wendy texted you.
Yes. Don't do it yet. No, don't send it yet.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let me explain. You guys took off. Okay, hold on. Okay. So with
not click on links that are sent to me.
I am going to tell you what happened when I changed I don't have enough time, or I can't get it all done, or I'm too busy, I don't do too busy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Immediately within 24 hours, I had 2 experiences I don't know if I've ever had. And I did nothing to make them happen. They just happened. Okay. And this was it. One was sitting down to write an email that is beyond late, like they all are. Mm-hmm. And I go to write the email and my hands physically stopped as I was about to write. I'm so sorry. This is late. I have been things have been really busy or crazy. Sure. I stopped and I went, I guess I don't do too busy now. So I just wrote, sorry, this is late. And then I moved on. That I can't tell you. I do not write that anymore. It is gone. I have no ability to tell someone I'm busy via email. It's gone. If I do, maybe it's an accident. I don't know. But for the most part, I don't do it. Okay. So that's the first thing that happened. Then the second thing that happened a couple hours later, Mom called in the middle of a workday, which she knows I'm not going to answer the phone because I'm too busy. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And instead, I just answered the phone. I felt zero annoyance. Like, how dare you forget I was busy? I just answered, and she about fainted. Like, whoop, sorry.
I was planning on leaving you a voicemail.
100%. And I was like, no, I have like a minute. Let's just chat for a second. It was the loveliest feeling. And I was like, what is this witchcraft? Anyway, so great. So I still do a million things, people. And I do say no to stuff a little more than I think I used to.
Sure.
But for the most part, I just don't feel too busy or stressed out. I know this sounds great. Anyway, so I'm hoping you have a good experience like I did. It was great. So I'm going to this is the picture I want you to set up, but don't set it up quite yet. So I'm talking to a client who's incredibly busy human being, many children, many grandchildren, runs a busy psychiatric practice. This woman is busy. And her can't statement was, I can't do anything for myself. because I have to make sure everyone else is okay. And that was a very old statement. She's lived by it for a long, long time, as you can imagine. So we worked hers through and we got to her don't statement. And her don't statement turned into, I don't ever skip creative time. Because that is something she used to love. She was an artist when she was young and, whatever. So she switches her statement. 2 days later, I get this email from her and she says, the first time I've picked up a drawing pencil in 40 years. And this is what I drew. And so, Scott, you can post
now
it.
I can share it?
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to share it. Hold on a second.
Cool. And then paste in our Discord so I can see it too.
I'll put it both places. There's Brian, and now here comes the chat. There you go. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Really?
Really?
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
After 40 years of not
Touching a pencil.
Wow. Well,
Great.
And my
this,
first...
This makes me feel bad because I touch a pencil 3 or 4 times a month and I can't do anything like this. Maybe I need to just stop for years.
So, my first thought, because of course I have zero, not a bone in my body thinks I could do anything like this, so I have no comparison, is my first thought is, we have missed out on your art for 40 years.
Sure.
It breaks my heart, right?
Yeah.
So I got her permission to share this. She's happy to share. And then she sent me her second piece, which was just as cool. Like so guess what she does every day? She's creative every day.
Yeah.
So something she thought she couldn't do, she now doesn't ever skip.
For those at home, audio only people, let me describe what Wendy sent us. It's this absolutely gorgeous rendering of a horse. Looks like colored pencil to me. Might even be crayon. My gosh, I'm not even sure. It's beautiful. And it's some of the most, someone in the chat said it too, some of the most bold color choices I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You'd swear this person was just working every day on this. Like
it's like a horse with Cyndi Lauper hair.
Yeah. Yeah, a little
bold
bit.
color. Yeah.
It's really,
it
really awesome.
does. Right. Do you want to see your second piece?
Yeah, put it in. I like this sort of thing.
And here's the thing. She just does it now. Just like she doesn't do murder, she doesn't skip creative time. Right?
Yeah. So you don't do murder. Number 1, don't do murder. And then number 2.
Takeaway, don't do murder, do your dang art.
Like it's the new ABC series from Shonda Rhimes. Don't do murder.
Don't do murder. But do
the
art.
The other thing too is like I don't stay in the office after 5. I don't work on weekends. There's so many versions of this. So you can see she really likes blue.
Yeah, she's a big blue fan. She's a nature fan.
It's so gorgeous.
This is beautiful. Yeah, these are really nice. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So imagine 40 years you don't draw, that comes out of your hand, and now you don't ever stop doing it.
Dang it. This is kind of a bummer because had this come up earlier, I would have really distracted us because I've been having this very specific problem lately where I'm having a hard time picking up any pen and drawing. Not because of these reasons, but because I'm so, it's not even annoyed's not the right word. I'm so affected, I'll say it that way, affected by what modern AI image generation is doing, that I know when I sit down and go, okay, I'm going to make a thing. It's going to be my style. I'm going to do it, and it's going to take me maybe 3 hours to do the full piece. I'm going to crank this thing out, and my brain immediately goes, meanwhile, someone will sit down to Midjourney 5, never drawn a thing in their life. They will put in these prompts. They will get their thing, and they'll do it in less than 4.5 minutes. And they'll show it to everybody, and everyone will be blown away by this amazing artwork that had really no human interaction other than a prompt. And I'm not even anti this technology. I'm just, as someone who creates with a pen, paper, or tablet or whatever, and has for a really long time, something about it is in my way. I can't explain it. And so it's a whole separate issue, right? Here's
what you need to do. Anytime you get that thought in your head, listen to the AI Scott Fletcher audio that you've got of the morning street or whatever it is that you play. And just remind yourself that no matter how good AI gets, it's never going to be human. It's never going to do what we can do as humans with our style. Somebody types, draw a picture of a leprechaun in Scott Johnson's style. They're still not going to get something that looks like something that you drew.
Well, I would agree with you 6 months ago, but I've seen some stuff lately where I'm not so convinced. Like they're fooling art experts, like people who know about everything there is to do with Pablo Picasso's art career, and they're faking his art, and they are saying, well, yeah, this looks, this has all the hallmarks of everything. This looks like a painting that we didn't know existed, that he had hidden somewhere. And it's not that it's concerning from I mean, there's all kinds of concerns. Like, coders have the same problem with these predictive chat things. It's starting to look like maybe their jobs are in jeopardy. And that's a whole separate area of concern. But mine is mainly that, are we going to get so good at it that I kind of have this feeling of, well, then what's the point? You know, which is it's not a great place to be mentally, but it's making me not feel that creative when I sit down to put pen to paper. And it's a weird effect. I didn't expect it. Because on the one hand, I'm kind of fascinated by the technology. I think it's interesting. Some people are using it as a way just to sketch out a composition and say, oh, here's a bowl of fruit, and here's how I would arrange it. And so this computer has done it for me faster so that I can get to the finish up work quicker. But this is different than just the tools are better. This is, all of it is being done for you. None of it you're doing yourself. And in a world where it's good enough for them, that might be good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it makes me just feel like, well, geez, what's with all the training and the time it takes to do this in a traditional way? Why bother?
All right. To kind of borrow Wendy's "don't do murder" thing, why do you do art?
I mean, I guess that's the coming to Jesus moment I had was, I do art because what I thought I did art for before were all these like altruistic reasons, like, oh, I just love the creative process and the fun that I have doing it and the blah, blah, blah. But really what it came down to is, in a way, it's one of my superpowers. And now I'm on the outside. I'm Zod on the outside of Superman's freaking little thing he's in. And
boil it down to something even finer. Do you do art because you love doing art? Do you draw because you love to draw?
I do, but I also love maybe too much that other people see it and go, "Wow, that's awesome." In other words, the reaction
that needs to be further down on the list, that you do it because you love it, because, as Carter points out, and you should really read what Carter said a minute ago, it's like air to you, it's breathing to you, your art. And so you shouldn't do it for any other reason than because it is your art. You do it because you love doing it.
Yeah, but I don't
I was just thinking, Brian's such a good therapist, and now I take it back.
Yeah, no, I think Brian is, and I love Brian like
a few things.
I love Brian like a brother. I love Brian like a brother, but I think he's dead wrong about that. I think that it's way more than that. Like,
hold on. It's not Brian's not wrong. He's just skipping steps.
I skipped
the
the part where I go send you to Amazon to buy a book.
No, you skip the part where you skip to telling him what to do or how he should feel.
Oh, sure, okay. All right.
Yeah, but all the other stuff up to that point was really good. And really, if you think about what it is, I mean, this is what everyone has to grapple with as the machines take over, right? What is it that matters to you? And yes, what matters to you is that people like what you create. And then if someone else can just create that, I mean, speaking of Van Gogh, which we've all been saying his name wrong our whole lives,
right? Yeah.
That, you sell one painting and you are suffering, your life is, and it's not till you're after your death that anything has value. Like, look at how that felt. That was not something we want to emulate, right? Everyone's different. Everyone's own experience is their own experience, but it's process. Like, this is a big deal to come along, and for you to navigate it just by like, yeah, just love it because you like to draw, is just skipping the actual process to figure it out. Like, what is it? What does it mean to you? What do you need to do with this?
Yeah, because I want that. That's always what I want. And if you'd asked me 10 years ago, that would have been my answer. Oh, I just love doing it. I love the experience. It's just all just that. But it's not true. Like, it's not even that. It's not that I was knowingly deceiving myself. I didn't know until we get to this point where it's like, oh,
yeah,
you can just poop this stuff out like it's nothing, and that's only going to get better and more difficult. Then I had to question it and go, well, wait a minute, why do I really like doing this? And I had to admit that a huge part of it is how other people feel about it. Right. So it's
Like,
a weird thing.
The academic like chat CBT, BBT, CCB,
GBT,
whatever
but
it is.
close enough. Sure.
Thank you. Like you can write anything by just telling it to within seconds. Like obviously academics can stick that in a computer and say, hey, is this generated by a computer? And it'll say yes. And now you're cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But like really grappling with what that means from all the academic sides of human endeavor, right? Like there's a lot of big discussions to be had. And, so if you aren't already complete and ready to rumble, then you're normal. This is something to actually grapple with.
Yeah. It's a weird thing.
I gotta go. I love you guys.
Oh yeah, you guys gotta go. It's getting late. That went places and I loved it.
It did go places. I do want this to just to follow up with everyone who did the I don't or the can't to the don't statement. Just pay attention to the week. I would love to have, someone, if you guys want to write in what happened to you, but both of you, I want you to repeat it and say it a couple times, put it in a place that you see, and just see what happens. See what that new neural firing network just does to your day, if it does anything. And then we'll talk about it next
All right. Well,
next
week we'll report back and see how we did. Back. Yeah. I may not see dead people in black and white movies anymore. I would love that. That'd be awesome. Anyway,
Brine,
fantastic.
You really are a good therapist. Just know that just a couple classes.
Right. I just tore up my Psychology 5 cents cardboard shack that I made, and I'm never going to use it again.
So sorry. You're
that's funny.
Quite good.
Well,
have
a fun week, Wendy, and I hope you have all the time in the world to get everything done that you need to.
I do. I'm never busy, so it's great.
Yeah, it's perfect. We'll see you later. Bye now.
See ya.
She's never busy. That's a funny one.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Hers would be hard because I know how freaking busy she is and have to.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Convince yourself.
That all is like she said, it comes down to saying no, and that's boy do I have a hard time with that.
I struggle with that too. It's really hard, especially I'll know I have a full crazy day and I'll get 3 or 4 requests to be on somebody's podcast, and I'll say yes, and then I'll be so drained by the end of that day that I don't want to do anything.
Right. Or I'll look at something that I do that's fun and say, ooh, let's the Taskmaster thing for Vegas. Oh, that was a lot of fun last year. I know what I'll do. I will quadruple it.
Yeah. Exactly. Let me go ahead and let me do 4 times the work and 4 times the things.
Escalate that to the nth level.
Sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed that segment. I always do. And there's more content coming your way because today at Coverville, or 1 p.m. for Coverville, check that out.
Yeah.
Live stream.
Please me.
Yeah, be there with Brian. He's gonna. What are you gonna play while you're doing stuff?
More Marvel Snap. It's about the best thing because games last about the length of a song, and so I can easily stop mid-song after a game and wait for the break to do the announcing of the songs, the back announcing and stuff, and then I can get back into it. And who knows? I might even play some more against Red Fraggle if. If she's going to be around, because
how's that usually end up going? Do you guys have a tally of who wins and who doesn't?
I'd say it's probably 1-1. I think she because she won this last time. She has a great, she has a deck that's kind of always solid, and I will admit that it's, since there were a couple of nerfs to some of my favorite cards this last week, it's kind of the deck I'm using now to move up in the ranks. But I think I need to figure out another deck that I enjoy that maybe Amy won't be expecting.
There you go. Watch out, Amy. He's after you now.
Yeah.
So don't forget that. Also tonight, Core. I'm also guesting on Garrett, and speaking of guesting on podcasts, this was not directed at them. We planned this forever ago. Just for the record. But
I just can't say no to Wine Zerple.
That's right. Today at noon, so about an hour from now, I'll be on with Garrett and with Kyle Ferguson on their show, Grinding Gears. So check that out. We're going to talk a lot about Diablo and the beta, what we thought, and what's coming up this weekend for that. So cannot wait to play the Druid and the Necro this weekend. When's Guess the Connection? Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow before our couch party. So at 9 a.m., at the normal time you tune in here if you're a live TMSer, and you just need something at 9 a.m., then come and guess some stuff. Guess what 6 songs have in common. I've already got my plan for what's tomorrow morning, so So look forward to that. Twitch.tv/Coverville again for that.
All right, nice. Guess the connection. And then, of course, right after that at 10 a.m. tomorrow, if you're a patron, you can join us for our couch party. We're not sure what we're watching yet, but we'll have that set
There we are.
tonight.
We're watching Blink, the
Blink.
Who
Right.
episode. Yes.
Yeah, I forgot we already
And apparently
agreed.
does not have Jenna Coleman, who I have a massive crush on, because she and Tennant never even overlapped. And boy, Mandela effect. I had in my mind that Tennant and Coleman were doctor and companion for a long time. But
Who's hers then? The little, the blonde one? No,
that's Billy Piper.
Yeah, that's not. Oh, that was
Eccleston's.
Eccleston, yeah.
Yeah, and a little bit of she overlapped into Tennant. No, it wasn't until Matt Smith that we got Jenna Coleman. Then she landed in a little bit in Peter Capaldi.
Capaldi Land. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my favorite.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Matt Smith. What am I thinking? Matt Smith was with Nebula. Was with what's her face?
That plays Nebula. I can't think of her name.
Yes. Beautiful redheaded woman named something. Anyway, she was Amy Pond, but I can't remember the actress's name. Anyway,
Thanos' daughter number 2.
Yeah, I'm Karen Gillan. Thank you. Yeah, apparently, see, this is how long it's been since I've watched Doctor Who. We need some more episodes. I finished up all the Whittaker.
Well, I'm always down because I have zero accumulated knowledge of much Doctor Who, so this stuff's all new to me. So all good. Then Film Sack on Saturday, we're watching Goldfinger. Get your ancient James Bond movie on, because that's where we're going.
Goldfinger.
Get your Shirley Bassey on, all that fun stuff.
That's right.
So check that out. The first throw of the hat from Odd Job is really what I'm looking forward to the most.
You get the first and last throw of the hat from Odd Job.
That's right. If you would like those couch parties or anything else provided on our Patreon, it's time to get in there. Patreon.com/TMS and join up today. Never get ads, get all the art in the mail, other great monthly benefits. And that art will be drawn by me, not some generated thing. It'll be me. Okay?
Yeah. Far better.
Yeah, if that sounds better to you, then patreon.com/TMS should sound great to you. Okay, we got to play a song and then get out. What do you have?
I've got a tune in my heart, and it's going out to Matthew E. He says, my birthday is on March 23rd.
Oh, shit.
Let's party!
I should hear birthday, and it should be the key. It should be just like...
I know, exactly. By the way, it's my dad's birthday out in Vermont today.
Oh!
Let's party!
All right. 2.
Yes, I've been getting texts from him all morning of like he's at this ski resort. He doesn't ski anymore, but he's at this ski resort in Vermont, sending me pictures of it. It's like, oh, so pretty. Anyway, Matthew E says, my birthday is on March 23rd, and while I've been on a real synthwave kick lately, my musical heart still clings to power metal. I'd love to hear Patty Gertie's cover of Nightwish's Over the Hills and Far Away, but if that's not possible, any power metallicized cover would be amazing. Ooh, or Be Like You by Evergreen, ADHD brain, take your pick. Anyway, thank you guys so much for everything you do. As the guy who listens to the weird stuff in his friend group, the songs in TMS always make it easy to have something new and different to show off. Signed, Matthew E.
I agree. That's where I get all my cool music is from Brine. This is good.
Well, likewise, I wouldn't have listened to the new Deadmau5 thing were it not for you. And,
it's so good.
I plan on doing that this afternoon.
So good.
After Coverville.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Matthew E.'s request, Over the Hills and Far Away, the Patty Gertie cover of this Finnish power metal song. It's great. It totally does put in different style. It comes from the album Shapes and Patterns. I'm sorry, an EP from 2018. Here is Patty Gertie.
If you like what you just heard, there's a very good chance you will like all the shows on the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Activate Pac-Man.
Oh. Okay. We'll activate Pac-Man then.
Activate Pac-Man.
Activate the Pac-Man. All right. We are the